beat, a pulse, the rhythm of stone laid upon stone. This is not the echo of a forgotten time. It is the living heart of an empire beating beneath the African sun. Vines crawl, secrets sleep, and walls whisper tales to the wind. For centuries they have stood silent sentinel, guarding a history deliberately obscured, a legacy nearly lost. This is the story of Great Zimbabwe, a city not of legend, but of stone and gold, of faith and power. A metropolis that thrived long before the first European ships dared to map Africa's shores. To understand this place, we must forget the maps drawn by outsiders, the histories written by conquerors. We must travel back nearly 1,000 years to the 11th century. Here, on a high plateau between the Zambezi and Limpopo rivers, a people known as the Shona began a monumental task. This was not mere construction. It was an act of devotion, a declaration of permanence. They were building more than a city. They were carving a civilization out of the very bones of the earth. No mortar, no cement, just skill, geometry, and an unshakable belief in their own destiny. But why here? What drove this incredible feat of engineering? The answer lies not just in the stones, but beneath them. The ground here was rich, not with soil, but with gold. This was the land of Mutapa, the kingdom of the gold miners. From these hills, a river of gold flowed, a torrent of wealth that traveled across the continent. Caravans laden with precious metal and ivory journeyed hundreds of miles eastward to the bustling port of Sofala on the Indian Ocean. From Sofala, Shona gold reached the markets of Arabia, Persia, India, and even distant China. In return came porcelain, glass beads, and textiles. Great Zimbabwe was the nexus, the powerful heart pumping the lifeblood of international trade. The walls were not just for defense. They were a symbol of this immense wealth and control. They declared to the world, this is the center of power. Within the city, society was strictly ordered. The ruling class, the elites, lived within the most protected and elaborate enclosures. The Great Enclosure, with its iconic conical tower, was the domain of the king and queen, the seat of political and spiritual power. Its purpose remains a mystery, a granary, a treasury, a symbol of royal authority. The stones keep their secrets close, but the spiritual life of Great Zimbabwe was perhaps its most powerful force. These are the Zimbabwe birds, part eagle, part human. They are messengers, intermediaries between the worlds of the living and the spirit ancestors. They represent the Shona belief in a sky god, a powerful deity watching from above. These were not just sculptures. They were conduits of faith, placed in sacred areas, the focus of rituals hidden from the uninitiated. This world of intricate trade, deep faith, and architectural genius remained largely unknown to Europe. But rumors of a golden city, an African El Dorado, eventually reached the shores of Portugal. In the early 16th century, Portuguese explorers and spies arrived at Sofala. They were driven by a thirst for gold and a mission to convert. What they found was a sophisticated network of trade, controlled by a powerful inland kingdom they could not comprehend. They heard tales of houses of stone and a mighty king, the Mwene Mutapa. They tried to penetrate this kingdom, to seize its source of wealth, but they were met with a culture far older and more complex than they imagined. The people of Great Zimbabwe guarded their traditions, their rituals, and their power. The bird god ceremonies, the secrets of the royal court, these were hidden deep within the stone enclosures, shielded from prying eyes. The walls became a barrier, not just against physical invaders, but against cultural ones. But no empire lasts forever. The decline of Great Zimbabwe is as debated as its rise. Was it environmental change, the exhaustion of the gold mines, the shifting of trade routes? By the late 15th century, the city's pulse began to slow. The people started to disperse, founding new centers of power, carrying the legacy of the stone builders with them. The great city slowly fell silent, its walls left to the sun and the wind. When European colonizers arrived in the region centuries later, they refused to believe that such a magnificent structure could be the work of native Africans. They concocted elaborate fantasies of Phoenician builders or the Queen of Sheba. It was a deliberate act of historical erasure, an attempt to deny Africa its own glorious past. For decades, the true history of Great Zimbabwe was suppressed. But stone is patient. Truth is resilient. Today, Great Zimbabwe is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, its origins undisputed. It stands as a powerful testament to a sophisticated African civilization, a symbol of ingenuity and cultural identity. It is more than a ruin. It is a source of pride, a classroom for the world, teaching a lesson in history that was almost silenced. The drumbeat that echoed through these valleys a millennium ago has not faded. It lives on in the stories passed down through generations, in the pride of the Zimbabwean people, and in the enduring strength of these incredible stone walls. They remind us that history is not always written in ink. Sometimes it is carved in stone, waiting for us to listen to its whispers. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of a lost African kingdom. If this story moved you, please consider subscribing for more explorations into our world's hidden histories. Your support helps us bring these vital stories to light. We'll see you next time.